knowing that I'll be studying overseas, of course, I just don't want to go to New Zealand just because to like spend 4 years studying.
So I think the system might need to be reviewed.
For the viewers, if you want to know more, come to UC and study law. Yeah, for example, like if you work 1 hour in New Zealand, you can afford like 2 Starbucks. But in Malaysia, if you work half a day, then you can only afford 1 Starbucks. So
1 teh tarik.
yeah, 1 teh tarik, for example. 1 hour you can just afford 1 teh tarik. So you can see like the different in like in terms of living costs and stuff. Yeah. One quote that I remember is that if you aim for the stars, then you weren't afraid of the skies.
So after receiving that awards, I feel like we deserve this.
They just
But
swept the whole awards.
Yeah.
Everything. I was there, so I was like, oh, okay, you should
Okay.
get. Okay,
We
Akasha
take
get on the
every
stage.
awards,
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we basically came up and down the stage 3 times. Yeah.
And I have no experience. I
Yeah.
have no connection at all. They just like, Hazim, you should do silat because you look like you're good in silat. I was like, how can you tell someone is good in silat? I was like, no, you do it with master. And it's like, okay, I just
His
do it.
teacher is YouTube.
You're listening to CMSA Podcast, your one stop for everything Malaysian in Christchurch and all over New Zealand. I am your host, Shakirin Ghazali. Stay with me as we dissect different topics with all kinds of people.
Kia ora, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to our viewers all around the world. So right now it's at 7 past 2 p.m. in the New Zealand time in Christchurch, New Zealand. So we are right now in front of the Merah building, which is the law building of University of Canterbury, which is one of the iconic buildings as it was quite old compared to other buildings here. And today we have 2 lovely guests besides me. So the first one is Akasha on my first left, and the second to my left is Hazim Muhammad Noor. So before I pass on to them, the topics that we are going to discuss today are largely focused on law in UC, which means the law course, and also some other topics, minor topics such as CMSA and Malam Malaysia. So first I pass on to Akasha to introduce herself.
Thank you, Shakirin, our moderator today. My name is Nur Akasha binti Musa. I go by the name Kasha. I'm 24 years old and currently just graduated from UC. I'm a graduate of law degree, and I live in Malacca, born and raised there. So I choose UC because of its good reputation. Like most of my lecturers are textbook writer, and they have like a wide expertise in a good expertise in whatever they're teaching us. So it's like a major decision making point for me before I came to UC. Yeah. So it's pretty much all about me.
Why don't you talk a little bit about your pre-departure studies, both of you, of course having the same studying at the same place.
So before we came to New Zealand and before we enrolled in UC, we studied for 2 years in College Yayasan Sa'ad International School. It was we studied there. We studied A-level there for 2 years, and then like subjects that I took are economics, accounting, math, and history. So after passing the exam there, then we came here to New Zealand, and here I am.
Nice. So pass on to Hazim for the introduction.
Thank you, Syakirin. Assalamualaikum. Kia ora, everyone. My name is Hazim Muhammad Noor. I go by Hazim. I am 24 years old. I am from Cheras, Selangor /KL. I am a JPA scholar, and currently I just graduated from Bachelor of Laws at UC. The reason why I chose UC is basically because of the living style in Christchurch itself. Because before I apply for this university, I look up to their what is it like to live in Christchurch, and what are the places that I can go and visit. Because knowing that I'll be studying overseas, of course, I just don't want to go to New Zealand just because to spend 4 years studying. I just don't want to spend my time in my room studying 24/7. I feel like it is much more interesting that we can explore the city itself. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I chose UC. And also, like Akasha mentioned, that UC has a good reputation in terms of their law school. It is one of the best in the world. It's top 150 in 2021 on the for law school itself.
Okay.
According to the QS ranking. So it's the biggest decision factor for me to apply for UC, because I feel like I'll be able to gain more experiences and knowledge if I study with good lecturers and good people around here. So yeah, that's the reason why I chose UC.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just to add on to the rankings as well, I think of course law and accounting is in the same.
Yes. It is
Building.
similar.
Yeah, and also I'm not sure if the rankings are similar or some sort, but the accounting is probably around the same range, top 150 in the world
probably
as well.
because I heard someone mention that accounting and UC quite top ranking in New Zealand itself. So
Yeah.
could be right, but the one from QS ranking on the website, it mentions that law school in UC is 150, top 150, which is quite good. Yeah.
Very good. Alright, thank you, Hazim. So we move on to our first major topic, which is law. You know why the numbers are a bit weird. So the first question is for both of them to answer. So I go with Akasha first. Why did you pursue this area, and what inspired you?
So the question is a bit tricky for me, because there are so many reasons why I pursue this area, and I think the best one is that when I was a kid, before I was born, my dad was falsely accused of a crime that he didn't commit. So since then, before I was one of the among my siblings, I was one of the brightest one. Okay, so my dad was very he was very hoping that I would pursue law to help people who had the same experience as he did. So I think my father's story is what made me choose this area, so that I could help others who wrongly punished, or who had a similar experience.
I see.
So I'll pass to the moderator.
So basically, so both questions are with the same answer.
Oh,
This should
okay.
be
What
fine.
inspired me?
What,
So what inspired me?
any particular person or just your father?
So what inspired me? Let me think. I think that's the answer for both questions.
Okay,
Okay.
understand. Okay, thank you, Kasha. We move on to Hazim. What about you?
For me, I think there's like two reasons why I chose studying law. The first one is because when I was a kid as well, same experience. I had a family conflict between my big family, my extended family, sorry, and like that issue made me realize that there should be at least a lawyer in the family, because there's like a lot of disputes and fights between my extended families that I don't think I should disclose here.
Yeah.
But that is like the reason why my dad is like, okay, we need to have at least a lawyer in the family, so there can be someone who can actually become the mediator or like trying to resolve the dispute, so we don't have a family conflict similar to this. So that is like the one of the biggest reason why I feel like I should take the responsibility to be the lawyer in the family. And the second one is because I am very interested in humanitarian law, specifically on international human rights. So growing up in Malaysia, I've seen like lots of like human rights issues such as the Palestine issues, Rohingya, those kind of issues that actually affected me a lot when I was a kid. I feel like as a human myself, I have the obligation to at least try to understand what's the issues that is going around and trying to like find a solution if I become like a good lawyer one day, inshallah. Yeah, so that's like the biggest two reasons why I chose studying law.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
Actually, the first answer is I could relate to that as well, but not to that. I didn't have any experience that makes me do that. But seeing my family, there was not. I don't think there's one accountant. Most of my not the extended family are just like engineers,
Right.
doctors.
Yeah.
So I think being an accountant could be a good thing for the family as well.
Yeah. Unless you need someone to like check the
Yeah.
credit and stuff.
Pay your
For the
taxes.
family, pay your taxes, make sure that you pay your taxes accordingly. Yeah,
Yes.
that's true. Not commit tax fraud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course,
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all have similar family experience that we have to like choose like that degree because you know you have the feeling to become responsible.
To help.
Yeah.
That is true.
Alright. Beautiful, beautiful. So the second question is for both as well. I will go with Hazim as again.
Mm-hmm.
How long did you study to finish the degree?
How long did I study to finish the degree? At UC, you can actually complete your study within 4 years, but from Malaysian student, you have to at least go through the UCIC, which is a preparation program at UC, or what we did back in Malaysia, we did A-levels like Akasha mentioned. So that A-levels took us 2 years to complete it, and then after we complete that A-levels, then we came here and then did 4 years of law. Yeah, alhamdulillah, we graduated after those 6 years of studying. It is a long journey, but it's worth it. Yeah, alhamdulillah. So glad that it's over now.
Yeah. 4 years is quite a long time.
It is a long
Be
time.
away from the homeland.
Yep, being
But,
away.
yeah. Interesting. So how about
Yeah, I
the question
basically
is
Yeah, basically the same.
I basically took the same path as Hazim.
Yeah.
So 2 years in Malaysia, preparation before we came to New Zealand, and then 4 years degree program.
Yeah.
So we have quite a few crisis alumni that came on to this podcast, such as Abdul Rahman, which is Adul.
Yeah,
He took
Science.
computer science.
Computer science. Yeah.
And also the last time it was Azhar, and he took psychology.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any more crisis, and also both of you took
Yeah.
law. So it's quite fascinating that crisis they have took different paths. Yeah,
That is true.
it's
That is
interesting.
So everyone should go to KAISIS. Yeah?
Sorry.
Everyone should go to KAISIS and study over there.
Actually, Azhar already said last time that it was closed.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not up to date to like news and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So go to KYS. It is a good experience.
All right. Nice. So the third question for this topic is So I will go with who wants to. Yeah. I'll say the question first. What's the biggest difference or differences that you can tell between Malaysia and New Zealand law? Who wants to answer this question?
I think we'll answer together.
Okay.
But I'll start first. I think Malaysia punishment on crime is very harsh. Like for example, Malaysia still has the die sentence. What do you
Capital
call that?
punishment.
Capital punishment.
Yeah.
And then they still have the caning punishment,
Mm-hmm.
the rotan thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And compared to New Zealand, they're a bit lenient to their offenders, and they focus more on rehabilitation
Yes.
and how to make a person become a better person than before.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah, I agree with
Malaysia is more like punishing so that it will whoever the victim family is will be satisfied when they see the offender get punished. So New Zealand is a bit different in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like just gonna add with that. Same idea, but it's just I feel like the Malaysia system has to change now, because most of the laws that are being implemented in Malaysia currently is actually imported from the Western societies back in 80s. Not back in 80s, back in like 20th century. For example, like the capital punishment, prisoning, and caning. They are all from Western societies who actually not comply with their norms and not up to date as well. Because for me, as a human being myself, I feel like there shouldn't be a capital punishment for anyone. No one's life is deserved being taken by the state for whatever crime that the person commits. And like with New Zealand system itself, they are more focusing on how to address the issue. For example, they are importing some of the Maori customs, like Maori cultures. When a person commit like a crime or whatever offense, they will actually sit in the middle and then talk to their whānau, and then from there you can actually try to find what is the core problem with that person, why that person commit that offense, and from there you can actually address slowly, step by step, and not just like straight away punish that person. Because I feel like if you punish that person, there'll be no learning.
Just papering over the
Yeah,
cracks.
exactly. So that's what I thought, that Malaysia should actually try to slowly change its system.
Yeah.
So
It's not solving any issues.
yeah,
It's like
it's not solving
yeah,
anything.
people don't stop doing crime just because they're punished.
Yep.
You need to find the core problem before you can like tackle those issues.
Yep, that is true.
But it's easy said than done.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is
We leave it to the authorities.
Probably more resources that way, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just whether the Malaysia government is willing to change. That's the biggest issue. Because New Zealand, when they change their system, it is when the government changed, because the capital punishment was abolished in 1980s. That was when the Labour government came in. So the different government might have different policies, might have different perspective on how to address things. So that's what I'm saying, is the willingness of the government, is that if they want to change the system, they can do it. But whether they're willing to go to that extent, it's up to them. But there's like one of the biggest issue that we both feel like something needs to be addressed like much quick pace.
If the crime rates go down with whatever we have right now, so with the punishment, the harsh punishment that we have right now, so I think the system might need to be reviewed. And yeah, and one of it is that we should focus more on rehabilitating those offenders than punishing. But when they go out from jail, they still don't know where to go and what to do, and they keep on repeating the same mistake that they did. So yeah, we need to check that.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I agree with that.
Is that all for that question?
Yeah,
Beautiful answer from both.
There's actually a lot of stuff, but I don't think we can actually cram everything in like an hour.
This podcast is more towards
getting an insight.
Getting quite a bit of insight towards these people's lives that have affiliation towards our club, which is CMSA.
So for the viewers, if you want to know more, come to UC and study law. You will have like a full insight of what's going on and like how things can be improved in Malaysia.
These two people can change our nation's fate in the future.
So inshallah, that's a big word. Inshallah.
Alright, so we move on to the next question is what specific New Zealand law that you think can benefit Malaysia if implemented?
You want to take that first?
I can do that first. Because what that I am focusing for the past 2 years of my study is I'm focusing on human rights. So one thing that I feel like Malaysia is very behind in terms of their mobility to change into a better nation is that their human rights system and their human rights enforcement. For example, in New Zealand, they have a New Zealand Bill of Rights, which they have like at least like I can't remember, like 60 provisions in the Bill of Rights that explain every single things that everyone should have the equal rights. Everyone is entitled to like freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom to practice any religions, freedom not to be discriminated for whatever disabilities they have in terms of their gender, whatever. But with Malaysia, they only have those provisions in their constitution, which is the last time I checked, there was only like at least 4 provisions for human rights that in the constitution, the Perlembagaan Persekutuan 1957. So I feel like when you have a very limited amount of human rights provisions, you will actually being exposed to human rights conflict of degradation. You'll be having less rights than what you should have. You know what I mean? So I feel like in terms of that, I feel Malaysia should learn from New Zealand on how to address human rights issues. Yeah, so that is from my perspective, because I'm very interested in human rights, so I'm very focusing on human rights. I feel like it is one thing that is one area that Malaysia should improve soon, very very soon. That's from my perspective. So I don't know about Akasha, she might have different opinion.
I agree to what Hazim said to some extent, but I'm not going to talk about that because I don't specialize in that area. So what I think Malaysia could benefit from by taking an example from New Zealand is that Malaysia should have a higher minimum wage. Like New Zealand minimum wage is reviewed every year, and every time the election comes, it will be reviewed again. So it's a constant review, it's a constant revision of the minimum wage. So that way our living cost is par with the is meet with the our wage. So yeah, currently in Malaysia, not that I can see like many people are complaining that they are struggling to survive with the little that they have. So it's really important that those things are reviewed. Like for example, in New Zealand, when I first started working as a part-timer here, our minimum wage is 17.5 I think, and then it becomes 18.5, and then currently, that was 4 years ago, and per hour. So now it's 22, is it?
21.
21 per hour. So what we earn here is like suitable for living in New Zealand. We have enough to buy stuff, and we have enough to like
Pay the rent.
yeah
Exactly.
do something else other than buy food.
Yeah, for example, like if you work 1 hour in New Zealand, you can afford like 2 Starbucks. But in Malaysia, if you work half a day, then you can only afford 1 Starbucks. So
One teh tarik.
yeah, 1 teh tarik. For example, 1 hour you can just afford 1 teh tarik. So you can see like the different in terms of living costs and stuff.
And I think having a higher minimum wage will solve the crime issues in Malaysia, like theft and whoever that has to sell drugs to just survive. You know, like one of the case with a mom who has 9 children. She sells drugs just to feed her family. So it's pretty sad, and so and also having a higher minimum wage will make the Malaysian have more empathy, and then they can also focus on thriving instead of surviving. Yeah, and hopefully that will make Malaysia a better country in a few years.
That's a big statement. You want to thrive, not survive.
Yeah.
It's a big statement.
Actually, I might add something. I think one of the main arguments that the government have to oppose increase in minimum wage is I think Malaysia is a attractive country to invest in because they have very low taxes. So if they want to increase the minimum wage, it's usually they will have to take from these investors and these higher level people, higher income people. So yeah, I think that's their main concern towards that. So yeah, that's what I can add.
So we need to check on that too.
Because if you can see in New Zealand, I think the income tax is higher than Malaysia. So but overall it's better to have a New Zealand system than the Malaysian system right now, I think.
Exactly.
So thank you Hazim and Akasha for the answers. So this is quite an interesting question. Do you have any favorite movie that focus on law enforcement, or any series or stuff that you can suggest to people to understand more about law?
You want to take that first?
How
to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah, like I watch a lot of like series and stuff, but when I first started watching Law and Order, that was like the OG kind of law series. That was like back in 2000 something, I can't remember, but Law and Order is very OG law series. It's quite interesting, but at that point I haven't like developed interest in law. But when I started watching How to Get Away with Murder, Suits, that's actually those series captured my attention. Be like, okay, it is actually important for you to learn about laws because you need some sort of basic understanding, at least to a certain extent, like how things work, because you just cannot get away with law enforcement and stuff. So yeah, I actually highly recommend you to watch Suits or How to Get Away with Murder and stuff. But just don't commit any murder. Yeah, just.
Okay, unlike Hazim, I don't like How to Get Away with Murder, but I do love this one particular movie that has nothing to do with law enforcement, but it sparks my interest in fraud and money laundering. It's Catch Me If You Can. It's about a guy who's struggling since he was a kid. So he started forging checks, bank checks, and then until he become a millionaire, I think. Yeah. So after he was caught, he was offered a job in government department to check whether the check is valid or not. Yeah. So I like that story. It's kind of interesting.
Very interesting.
Sparks my interest in commercial law.
Yeah, very
That's
interesting.
I want to add something as well. If you guys have watched it was called Just Mercy
Just Mercy.
by Michael B. Jordan.
Okay.
It's about this one person that was put into death row for not justifiable accusation, which is wrongly accused, and it shows the story is about one lawyer, this particular lawyer, which is a black man, and he helped his client, which is a black man as well. And yeah, the story was, it's more about the criminal justice system of the United States at that time.
How it was corrupted.
Yeah, how it was. Yeah, not doesn't represent justice. Yeah. Unfair,
That's very
unfairness,
interesting.
yeah.
Never watched that, but thank you for recommending that to me.
Yeah.
Just
Quite nice.
Mercy. Yeah.
I'll note it down.
It's a real story.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all.
What's the end of that movie? What's the end of that?
You don't want to
Oh, I
spoil.
cannot.
You don't want to spoil the movie, especially when we got viewers here.
Okay. So watch it yourself.
Yeah, it's quite new. I think last year or
Yeah,
last 2 years.
you guys should watch and then comment down below and then see how you guys think about it.
Yeah, probably you'll be interested to study law.
Help people, unfortunate people.
Yeah,
So
people.
yeah, the next one is for both of you. So we start with Kasha first. Career prospects, ambitions,
Or
and
do you
targets.
have any individuals that you look up in this field?
Sorry?
Me? Do you have any
Oh,
individuals?
sorry.
Oh.
Okay,
Okay,
that
start
one.
with Kasha or Hazim?
Kasha.
Kasha, okay. It's hard to pick one individual that I look up in this field. Most of them are my lecturers. So there's 3 of them. One is a sentencing lecturer. She's really interested in how there's a problem in the justice system that needs to be corrected. Like more Maori people are being arrested than white people. Sorry, I wish I wish I have a proper way to say that.
Pakeha.
Okay, yeah, Pakeha and Maori. So she was arguing that there's something wrong with the enforcement. So yeah, that's how I get inspired to like pursue things in criminal.
Yeah,
Areas,
similar thing in Malaysia as well. Got more Indians in prison
Yeah.
than any other races.
Yeah,
as well.
if you read newspaper,
Yeah.
you'll see that how it might be maybe bias involved there.
Yeah.
So, but one particular person that I really inspire is my advocacy lecturer. He's a QC. QC is the highest ranking lawyer in New Zealand. Highest rank that you can get for lawyers in New Zealand. So he's one of them, and he was really kind and very helpful. He was once a C student, but he worked hard and finally become a QC. So yeah, I want to be like him, kind to people, help others, and do what you think right.
That's a good.
Keep her name secret. So
Alright.
I keep his name secret. So.
That's so nice.
What was it?
For me, I feel like the person that I look up to in terms of law is Mahatma Gandhi, because he was a lawyer before he became the leader of India. Because I'm very interested in human rights, and same as like he was. He led the Indians to go against the British at that time. So that is some sort of inspiration that I'm trying to like bring to myself, because I feel like I need to do something to change the system, because if there's nobody who's gonna do it, then it's gonna stay the same for the next generations. So I feel like looking up to this person, Mahatma Gandhi specifically, I feel like I have to have the same courage as he was, being so brave, leading the people to go against the corrupted government or whatever the government was at that point. So yeah, so that's the person that I look up to in terms of law perspective.
It is a very big,
Statement.
very high level of
Yeah.
high level of
I'm trying to like be ambitious.
good. Yeah,
Trying to
very
be
good.
ambitious, because like when I talk to like my families that I want to be a lawyer, everyone just like, oh Hazim, you should strive to become a prime minister in Malaysia, because we need a good prime minister. And so I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think I want to be a politician. But after like reading Mahatma Gandhi's journey from being a lawyer, helping the people in his village to become the leader of the country itself, this actually inspire you to like, you gotta change yourself first, and then you gotta be like, push yourself to the limit, and then if you reach the limit, push yourself until you know that you can do something to change the world. Even if you can't change the world, just change the people surrounding you. So that's what something that I'm trying to like push myself, but I'm slowly getting there. It's gonna like take a few years to do it, but yeah, that is.
I remember a quote from Spider-Man, I think.
Yep.
Say that if you help one person, you help the whole world.
Oh yeah.
Something
Yep.
like that. So you
Something
gotta
around
make
that.
that tiny steps
Yep.
before you can move.
Don't spoil the movie.
Oh, okay. Cut it out.
Some people haven't watched it yet.
Oh, is the No Way Home one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I still don't know.
I think the quote was written on.
No, don't
on
spoil this.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you for the answers. So the last question for this topic is career prospects, ambitions, and targets. So we start with Azim.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, like I mentioned before, my ambition is quite high, as I'm trying to be the diplomat to the United Nations representing Malaysia, because every year not every year, like at least I've seen like once in 10 years, I've seen like Malaysia is actually part of the United Nations in terms of either part of the Security Commission, which is they only select they change the members of SC once every 4 years, and I remember Malaysia is part of it right now, but there is no changes that's happening in terms of like the United Nations actions. So I feel like my biggest ambition is I want to be the person who's going to represent Malaysia, and then be at the United Nations table, and then try to make a change in this world. So
Could COVID be like one of the reason why no changes is happening?
no change because
Minimal changes.
if you can work from home, I don't think it should stop you
Yeah.
from because if I'm not mistaken, United Nations convention is still happening, but it's go through online. It happened last year, the convention, and the UNGA, United Nations General Assembly, happening once every 2 years, and there's still no changes is happening. And in terms of like COVID is happening and security and human rights reason, there's completely separate issues, and I don't think you should mix them together. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's actually like my ambition. But job prospect, still searching for that kind of position in Malaysia because there's none. You gotta go through like few positions before you reach to that point. Yeah, it's gonna take like few years, but I feel like there's something that I want to do in my life. Yeah.
Interesting.
What about Kasha?
Okay, me, I'm probably a little bit different from Hazim. I'm more interested to contribute in the amending and reviewing the acts, the legislation, I mean. So, like in New Zealand, we have law committee that works closely to the ministers. They help checking all the legislation, whether it's unfair or whether it's discriminatory to some groups or some people. So yeah, I wanted to pursue in that area, but if I couldn't, I'll probably go to one of the law firm and become a barrister myself.
No, inshallah you can do it.
Inshallah.
You can change the legislation. You can be part of it.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
It's like if I get to be part of it, I'll make sure that our minimum wage is higher than now.
She is making promises now.
Oh, okay.
So vote for Kasha.
Okay. Just nothing.
MP for Melaka.
Very high targets from both of these gentlemen and gentlewomen.
Thank you.
But that's a very good step in achieving that target, as you you set that target very high, but you know how to get to there, so it's very good.
Yeah. One quote that I remember is that if you aim for the stars, then you weren't afraid of the skies. Meaning that if you aim yourself higher, then you weren't afraid of the other things that are like going surrounding it.
Yep.
So yeah, you can use that quote in your
So,
essay for SPM or whatever.
So I usually have plan B. My plan A is higher than my plan B. So if I couldn't achieve that plan A, I have backup plan. Trying to be realistic.
Alright, thank you, you both.
Mm-hmm.
So we have finished our first topic.
Yay.
So we are back again after a quick break. So we move on to our next topic, which is specifically towards Hazim, which is SAMSA 18/19, which is SAMSA during the 2018 and 2019 period. So the first question is, how did you become SAMSA's president?
Yeah, that's actually like a lot of stories behind it. To be honest, like when I first came to like New Zealand, like when I started joining SAMSA when I was in first year, I was just a normal member, ordinary member, and then like a lot of people being pushed. They tried to push me to join SAMSA as SAMSA exec, but not to the top positions like president or vice president. So when the AGM, the annual general meeting, happened in September 2018. I was still in first year, right? So I didn't know much Malaysians at that point. I only like hanging out with a few Malaysians around. I came to the AGM, and then at that point they just elected a new president for the 2019, and then there's like a nomination for vice president, and unfortunately there was only one candidate. And then one of my friends just like shouted my name, be like, "Okay, Hazim, as you can see." I have zero experience in terms of social clubs, because when I was in high school or like when I was in A levels, I was just the sports captain, only like focusing on sports. I have no experience in terms of like management or admin or whatever, because the vice president's role was actually about administration. And yeah, it worked out well for the first few months, and then after that there was like an internal conflict that's happening, because the president has to like leave the job because she got other commitments, and she can't juggle between her other commitment and SAMSA. So at that point she talked to me, and then she's like, "Okay, I think you need to step up, and then you gotta take the role as the president." And then we held the extraordinary general meeting, and then we asked for members' approval if they approve me as the president, and alhamdulillah, yeah, get the job as president. It was very interesting stories, because a lot of things happening, and then within a short amount of time, and it was very stressful time, but yeah, alhamdulillah, getting there. Yeah, I managed to do the president's work very, very, very well.
So actually, you didn't apply to any particular position, or
The first meeting?
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't apply for any.
So your friend just
Yeah,
calling in
yeah,
for the
yeah.
president role.
No, for the vice president.
Vice president.
Because when I showed up to the AGM, I was very late, because during the AGM it was Raya as well, Raya celebration.
Okay.
It was like during the same week of Raya, and then I went to like my friend's house for the Raya celebration, and then I didn't apply for any positions at all for the AGM, and then I just came to like for the free food. It's like, you're in first year, of course you want free food like all the time, right? So I showed up to the SAMSA AGM for free food, and then I sat there. My friend just shouted my name, and then yeah, I got elected to vice president. So that was actually very interesting on like, even if you don't have experience or knowledge about that job scope, you're still able to do it if you get like enough supports and enough like people who are actually helping you. Yeah, so I was very grateful for the 2017-2018 committees, because they helped me, like they groomed me well to become a good committee member. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Alright.
Very, very interesting. A lot of things.
Alright, we done the first question. The second question is, what did you learn from that experience? Not everything, just the one that you want to share.
I feel like the most important one is that you have to be flexible. You know what I mean? In terms of like, you gotta be flexible with the people who you're working. You gotta be flexible with your job, which is your job, your work and stuff. You gotta be flexible in terms of your time, how you manage your time between your club and your studies. Because I was in second year at that point. When I introduced myself, I am the president of SAMSA, and then they're just like, "Oh, what are you in final year?" I was like, "Nope, I'm in second year." So at that point, within the UCSA clubs, I was the youngest president, because everyone else was actually in final year or like almost completing their degree, but I was like legit just getting into second year, and then I was already like holding that such a big role, because SAMSA is really huge in UC. Everyone knows SAMSA, like Malaysian society is really strong in terms of their influence. So as the second year student, I was trying to like force myself to become flexible, working with more adults, more professionals, like getting sponsorships and stuff, and then working with the embassy as well, because at that point the tragedy of 15 March happening at the same time. I was the president, so I have to work with the embassy as well. So my biggest advice is that you have to force yourself to become flexible, not too rigid, because then you can learn from those things that's happening. Yeah, so yeah, that's advice that I can give.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Do you have anything to add, Kasha?
Me?
Yeah, Kasha was actually one of the like execs for UC
Muslims,
Muslim
Uh,
society as well. So she must have lots of experience working with like different people from different backgrounds.
I think one of the things that I learned from being part of a university club is that you have to have a different way of handling people. Like not all of your team members are fully committed to their work, and you have to, and not all of your team members have like lots of time and lots of free times, so you have to give them job that is proportionate to what they are capable to do. And yeah, you just have to be more considerate and basically basically handle people in different ways, not discriminate, but yeah. You know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Alright.
Interesting.
Nice.
Very interesting.
So the third question is proudest or best moment as SAMSA executive.
Proudest moment.
Awards night.
What?
Awards night.
Yeah. I think one of the proudest, I would say, is actually when we won the best production at UC. So our Malam Malaysia was actually the best production in 2019. We were voted the best at UC. So that's actually one of the proudest moments that I had, because I was part of the Malam committee as well, because as the president I have to like approve things, and I have to work with the director as well, and I was part of Malam as well. So there was like actually a lot of stuff, and we were awarded with the best production, so that was actually one of the proudest. But I feel like the best moment is that when I handed in my presidency post to the next one, and I've met a lot of sponsors afterwards, and a lot of them thanking me. They're just like, thank you Hazim for doing all of this for SAMSA, and thank you for like reaching out to us, getting us sponsorship and stuff, because they told me that they don't have confidence in SAMSA at the beginning of our term, because we got a lot of internal issues, and they had a lot of rumors, but I convinced them saying that SAMSA can be saved and stuff, and we managed to reach to that point where we were able to establish ourselves again as one of the best international clubs. So that's actually the best moment, is when you know people are actually telling you you've done a good job, you've actually managed to like at least unite Malaysian students during Malam Malaysia and stuff. So yeah, I feel like that's actually the proudest / the best moment that I ever had as SAMSA president.
I agree. Yeah, you did a good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Amazing job. Sorry.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I agree as well. From my stay here, I came here like July 18, and of course I was part of the SAMSA exec in 1920, but I would say
Couldn't do much.
the 18-19 period was a very successful period.
Thank you.
It was very enjoyable. Every event, it was very meticulously, very detailed preparation and stuff. And yeah, of course, Hazim as the leader has to have a lot of credits to that. But I think the committee as well is very.
Yeah.
They very passionate towards their job and role.
Yeah.
I think.
They were
Yeah.
very passionate. Like all the execs that I can. Yeah, shout out to everyone, to Ratu, Aida, Adam, Amirul, Ika, Rai, Hana. Yeah, to all my execs, they actually done a really good job. I was just there to like making sure that things go out well, but they are the one that actually preparing for like months, and they are like thinking about what are the best that we can give to the members. Because when I started as my job as the president, I told them that we're gonna do it for the members, not for ourselves, because they trusted us to become the face of SAMSA. So we're gonna do the best for the members to showcase to everyone at UC that SAMSA or Malaysian community at UC is actually one of the best international students at UC. So yeah, shout out to the SAMSA execs 1819 and 1920 as well. They did really good job, because I was there to like just observing them, and I was like, oh, actually they've done a really good job. Yeah, very good. Despite of the COVID happening at that time, they did a really good job. I would say
Yeah,
that.
for example, the idea of doing a podcast.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
idea of doing podcast is still happening until
It's
now.
really, I think it's genius.
It is.
Nah.
Yeah.
It has a lot of quality issues, as you guys can, if you guys follow along the podcast. But slowly, I try to get rid of the issues and stuff. But
It's getting on well now.
So I want to take a moment to thank Shah for
Yeah,
doing
thank
such a
you.
great job with the podcast, and I enjoy every episode of it.
I do enjoy it.
alright,
Yeah.
yeah, the podcast is not about. It's all about the people. Yeah, we want to know more about our people.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool,
That's
cool,
pretty much
cool.
it. So how about Kasha? Do you have any proudest moment during your like social activities? Because you have quite a few roles during your stay here.
I think I was quite active in UC Musa. It's University of Canterbury Muslim Student Association. So I didn't take a huge role in the committee, but I started as a sports committee. So mainly organizing sports, but our job is not rigid to what position we hold. We basically do everything together, like helping out every members who's in charge of one particular event. So I'll say it's a bit stressful in 2019 when Christchurch mosque shooting event was happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were quite busy and struggling to juggle with my study, and so I think one of the proudest moment is when we receive an award. I think we get 3 awards that time. The community awards was received by community contribution was received by our president at that time, and then we had the best international clubs award and best overall small supreme club awards. So we basically did a lot of job in that year, and yeah. So after receiving that awards, I feel like we deserve this.
They just
But,
swept the whole awards.
Yeah.
Everything. I was there, so I was like, oh, okay, you should
Okay.
again. Okay,
We
Akasha
take
again on the
every
stage.
awards,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we basically came up and down the stage 3 times. Yeah. Not to brag, but yeah.
And every single time, Kasha was like, hey,
Hey!
yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't do all the community contribution job simply for that awards. We really want to help the shooting victims and whoever is affected by the shooting, mentally and physically. So yeah. I hope if you guys come to New Zealand and come to UC, you should participate in one of the club and make changes, even if it's the smallest thing that you can do. So yep, that's all from me.
Alright. Thank you for the answers. So we are done with that topic.
Yep.
I think
Last but not least.
yeah, Malam Malaysia, we just take it a short
Okay.
short jump into that.
Okay.
So what is your Malam Malaysia
Experience.
Kasha?
My experience as in Malam Malaysia, I was one of the cast in the drama. I was a mom for the main character, and basically my role is supporting her towards achieving her goal. And I think I did pretty good job in like expressing emotions in the theatre performance. And yeah, Hazim said I supposed to receive a best, what do you call it? Best actress
Yep.
for that theatre. Okay.
We should have awarded that to her because she
Okay.
did an amazing job. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it.
Yep.
Yeah. She did-
Everyone cried when I cried.
Ay. Okay.
Okay, go. And you?
No, my Malam Malaysia experience was basically I was part of the dancing team because at that point the dance crew, they said they don't have enough males. They got a lot of females but don't have males. So and I was the president at that time. So like I don't know, I feel like I need to just join Malam Malaysia because Malam Malaysia is like part of the things that I want to succeed. So that's why I joined the dance team for the 2019 Malam Malaysia, like despite having jobs as the president. So there's actually quite a lot of commitments there, but you know what, you gotta push yourself and just do whatever things that you enjoy. So that's
Yeah.
actually something.
What about
that-
the Samsat Malam 2018? When you?
Oh yeah, I was
also-
part of the Malam Malaysia 2018
He
as well.
performed silat, I
I
think.
performed
I
silat.
saw, yeah,
Yeah, I
your
performed.
picture.
Yeah, it was on YouTube. You gotta watch it. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Ha! Something like that.
Yeah, it was very fun because like coming to UC, joining SAMSA, I have no experience or whatever in Silat, and I have no experience. I have
Yeah.
no connection at all. They're just like, Hazim, you should do Silat because you look like you're good in Silat. I was like, how can you tell someone is good in
Yeah.
Silat? I was like, no, you do it with master. And it's like, okay, I just
His
do it.
teacher is YouTube.
Yep.
Yep.
Both of us, we learn from YouTube and then like just develop all the skills and stuff, all the stunts. So yeah, credit to Master because he was the one who actually choreographed everything. He taught me a lot of stuff about Silat even though he doesn't have any
Experience.
experience as well. But none of us has the experience. But no, you know what? Just do it. Yeah, it was a good experience, I would say. Yeah.
As an audience that year, I really enjoyed performance that year, especially the opening silat thing that Hazim performed. Yeah, that was funny.
I thought she was gonna say that was cool, but okay, we can take it. That was funny.
Not cool because Hazim performed it. So
Alright.
it's,
Stories from both of you. So the next one is the last one, which is debate. So both Hazim and Kasha is part of the debate team for SAMSA last year, and I'm not sure the year before as well. Yeah. So Kasha first. How did you become a debater?
how did I become a debater? I first became something almost like a debater is after I enrolled in an advocacy class, where I'm like, what do you call that? Giving an opening statement in front of the judge and then do the witness examination thing and then closing statement to closing. Yeah, it's a law thing. Yeah, basically what you do in court in front of the judge to defend your client or to prosecute the offender. Okay, so that was the first that sparked my interest in debate. So I tried to join debate for the Bersatu Games that was held in Dunedin. So yeah, it was my very first time debating in front of the audience, and the competition is a bit like competitive. So yeah. That's how I first became a debater. It started from my study.
Very interesting.
And
What about Hazim?
I started to become a debater when I was in high school actually, but I was debating in Malay, not in English. like growing up, I have a stutter issue. It's like what do you
Oh,
call
really?
it? Gagap. Yeah, gagap. Like your mind is doing its work faster than your tongue. So basically, I cannot say the word itself. Sometimes I struggle to like say words because my mind is working working quicker than my mouth. So I joined bahas, or we call bahas in Malay, or debate. When I was in high school, I tried to like get rid of that problem, and Alhamdulillah, slowly getting there. And then when I was in doing my A levels, that's when I joined English debate. And then that's from there, like slowly, like
Being more
developing more
interested.
skills and stuff. Because like debate skills is basically the same, English and Malay. It's just the language is different. But yeah, I joined the Bersatu debate team, and yeah, it was actually fun. It was very fun. I was the captain of it, and we got third place, which is very good because we only thank you thank you, because we only prepared for like 2 weeks before the competition itself, and like we're trying to like develop chemistry between us and stuff, and it worked out well. Yeah, to my teammates, thank you. It was very good experience. And yeah, that's how I started. Basically, just to get rid of my stutter issue. Yeah.
That's good.
All right. I guess the second question is not necessary. I think
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the same.
pretty
Yeah.
much answered.
already answered. So would you like another question or just
I
wrap
don't
it up?
mind. I don't mind.
I
The
guess-
moderator, because we just here.
Yeah.
Yeah, just one last question. So,
Okay, cool.
favorite place in Christchurch and New
Favorite.
Zealand, starting with Hazim.
Oh, favorite place in Christchurch. My favorite place in Christchurch, I would say.
You see.
Okay, UC is basically like my second home already, because I spend a lot of time at UC. But I always go to Port Hills whenever I feel miserable, or whenever I feel like I need some alone time. I'll just like drive to Port Hills at night, and then just like relax, just clear my mind, and enjoying the beautiful stars and sky and stuff. Yeah, well, actually Port Hills is very nice place, especially when you want to feel connected to the nature, and you want to feel like, okay, you need to take a break and you got to relax from everything, just focus on yourself. So that is something that I would actually recommend to those who want to study in Christchurch. You don't want to like just cram your mind with studies and stuff. It's not good for your mental health. Yeah, you got to do something else. And my favorite place in New Zealand is, I would say, Queenstown is quite nice because you get a lot of activities. You can do skydive, you can do gondola, you can do luge and stuff. But yeah, I would say Christchurch is like the best place in New Zealand. Yeah, I love Christchurch. It's just like my second home now. Yeah.
Nice. What about Kasha?
For me, my favorite place in Christchurch will be New Brighton Beach. So lots of things happen there. I cry and smile there.
Can we know the stories?
No, no.
Like some
It's pretty personal. But I love when at the time of the sunrise, it's really beautiful. And then it's really peaceful, not many people there, and you have alone time. And you can just stare at the sea for like an hour just to clear your mind, and then go back and become a new person. Hopefully. So New Brighton Beach is my favorite place in Christchurch. And for New Zealand, it would be Lake of Tekapo, the Tekapo Lake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because of beautiful lupins there, and then
Salmon,
yeah, I went there pretty much every year. Yeah, and
with fresh salmon, you should go.
so
Everyone
but
should go
it's
there.
really beautiful, and same, you can like just sit down, thinking about future or thinking about how you grow from where you started and what you've become now, and then look at, yeah, you can like do a lot of mind stuff there, thinking basically. So yeah, and you can keep yourself calm there. Connected to the nature, it's like Hazim.
Nice. Actually, I had the same thing with Hazim as well. I remember this one time I was so crammed with studies. It was just before the exam week, so and then I just felt like going to the Fort Hills, so I just went up in the midnight, and
Yeah,
it was-
exactly. It's very nice, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Very nice to just like
Yeah, it's
Take a
beautiful out
breather.
there.
just relax. Don't have to think about responsibilities and stuff.
Yeah,
Sit
a
down,
short
just-
escape.
Exactly. Lie down, enjoy the sky. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, because when you're student, time is a luxury. You gotta juggle between part-time job, and study, and club's life. So having a half an hour break from your study and all the messy stuff in life, it actually can change your performance by a lot. Yeah, so that's what those two are doing.
Well, I actually once fell asleep when I was at Fort Hills. I drove up there like 12 and then I woke up at 4.
Oh,
I was just lie down and for like half an hour I was like fell asleep because I was very tired. I was in like because I was doing the CMSA job. I was doing Malam Malaysia blah 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 and stuff. So I feel like I need some break from those things. So I just lie down and then next thing I realized it was already 4 something. I was like, oh, need to go home now. Yeah, it was really fun.
Alright, beautiful conversations today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So we're gonna wrap up this podcast with shout outs and short message. So we started with Kasha
Hazim?
first.
me?
Yes,
I think whatever you want to do, you do it with passion and make sure you finish what you have started. It's okay to take some breaks along the line, along the path, but make sure to appreciate yourself and be kind to others. And if you're in Banjir area, I hope you get all the help that Malaysian could give you, and may God ease you. Yep, that's all for me.
Alright, Hazim.
For me, first I would like to thank everyone who has been helping me, supporting me for the past 4 years that I spent in Christchurch. Because we're leaving New Zealand at the end of this year, like 31st December, which is next week. So I would like to thank everyone who have helped me, been supporting me, who has been reaching out hands to make sure that I get to where I am right now. To my friends, to my family, to everyone who knows me from far away, those who are already in Malaysia, those who already live somewhere else in Wellington or Auckland. My advice, not advice, but I was just short message to everyone is you do whatever that you want to do. Just don't be afraid of being yourself. Just express things that you feel and make sure that you focus on your well-being, because at the end of the day you want to make yourself happy before you make others happy first. So what I've been telling everyone, like my close friends and stuff, make yourself happy, then everyone else will be happy, everyone surrounding you will be happy. So yeah, so that's my short advice. And also, stay safe for everyone in Malaysia. Hope everyone is doing well, during this time. Yeah, especially those in Malacca. Hope everyone is okay.
My hometown.
Oh, yeah, her hometown. My house in Cheras, alhamdulillah, okay.
Yeah.
Not so affected so much, but yeah. And stay safe, everyone. Thank you. Thank you to
safe.
Shak as well.
No worries.
Thank you, Shah.
Yep. Stay safe, everyone, and wash your hands. See you next time. Thank you.